Hello and welcome to FPL Neutral. This is Ram. We're nearing the end of a long international break and we're all itching to get back to FPL. In this video, we'll be looking at my team. What are the dilemmas I'm facing with my team? Which are the players I'm happy with, which I'm not? And what are the transfer paths I'm looking at ahead of Game Week 8 in FPL? If you like any of the content you see on this channel, do leave a like on this video. And if you want to follow my team for the rest of the year, do leave a subscribe to the channel as well. So let's jump right in. Let's first have a quick look at how I did in Game Week 7, which seems a long time ago now. But 72 points, it was a green arrow. I went into, now I'm back in the top 1 million with 992k rank. It was a few players did really well. Of course, Haaland as my captain continues to do well. Glad I got him on my wildcard. This is basically my wildcard team because I rolled my transfer in Game Week 7 and I wildcarded in Game Week 6. So Haaland, captain, coming away with a goal again away to Brentford. Looks like a permanent captain going forward now. Semenyo with a big haul, 18 points. Amazing. I missed out on him in Game Week 4 when I went for Gakpo instead, but glad I got him in my Game Week 6 wildcard. 18 points, 2 goals and assists. He seems to be another lock for a long time in the team. Other Arsenal defense came through. Gabriel with 9 pointers with Defcon and bonus as well. Raya with a good 6-pointer there. Blanks from my Bournemouth defender Senesi, who didn't get Defcon for the first time in the season. And the biggest disappointments in my team, you could say, are Spurs from my wildcard team because both weeks they've blanked now. GW7 has not really looked as well as I wanted. He doesn't have the goal threat that I wanted. A slight assist threat, but not enough. Romero, again, disappointing with just 1 point there. Mbumo came away with a 6-pointer. So very happy with that because I went with him over Bruno Fernandes on my wildcard team. And in both weeks, he's outscored Bruno by 3 points. It's not much, but at least it's better there. I saved the money there. Of course, I went for Ndiaye as well. I had a big debate this in my mind for last week, whether to start Ndiaye playing Palace away or João Pedro playing Liverpool. Happy to have gone the right decision there with the penalty taker that is Ndiaye. Almost got a haul because almost got an assist for that final Grealish goal if Beto had finished his chance, but still quite happy with the return. Another disappointment is Gyökeres. It was a prime fixture, West Ham at home. This is where you wanted him to do well. And another information we learned is that he's not first choice on penalties or may not be first choice on penalties. And he's definitely going to be sharing with Saka if at all he is on penalties. So that was disappointing to see. So this is how we did the bench. Anderson came in with that Defcon once again. So that was good. So that's it, 72 points. Happy with that. Now let's see how the team is looking for Game Week 8. This is the bus team without making any transfer. I have 3 transfers in the bank. I have 0.4 million in the bank. So how the team is looking is basically, look at the easy decisions first. Double Arsenal defense, of course, I'm going to start them any day. Haaland up front and Reinders both playing Everton at home. Decent fixture. Haaland captainable fixture, is my captain at the moment. So playing my City players. Next, Semenyo against Palace away. Not the easiest fixture, but Semenyo, you can't not play him if you have him. João Pedro playing Nottingham Forest away. I think that's a really good fixture for him because he's had a good rest over the international break. He's going to have a rest later in Champions League midweek as well because he's suspended. So I'm sure with playing against Ange Postecoglou struggling Nottingham Forest, João Pedro hopefully gets at least a shot this time. He's not really even had a shot in the last few games. And then Gyökeres playing Fulham away. Definitely, hopefully he comes back into form, but definitely a game where he could definitely come away with a couple of goals there. Hopefully, because he's getting the chances. He's actually getting the chances, but just not able to finish them. Saka seems like the more of a talisman in the team at the moment, but he's getting the minutes. Gyökeres is first choice. He's getting the minutes. Havertz is not close to the first team action yet. So I'm sure he'll get the minutes and hopefully get the goals. Is it worth transferring out and maybe move into somebody like a Saka? Maybe. I'll let you know my thoughts later in the video. And then, where are the issues in my team? I'm happy starting Rodon back in defense as well against Burnley. Now, of course, the thing about having a lot of defenders with Defcon nowadays is that you're always going to be benching Defcon points. And with right now in my team, if you see, I have Senesi on my bench, Anderson on my bench, both having slightly difficult fixtures, but still you would expect them to hit Defcon in both these games. So should you really play them or not? So now Rodon, I'm quite happy to play because Burnley away, again, if you're not playing a player when they play Burnley, then why even have them in your team, right? So I happy to play Rodon there. But the dilemma in my mind is whether to start Romero in defense or Senesi. At the moment, I'm leaning towards Romero because the home game, and hopefully, I know Villa have slightly back in form. I know they struggled to score earlier, but now they seem to come back in form. Watkins and Rogers scored for England as well. But still, I'm happy to start Romero this game. But it could be Senesi. That is a decision I'll be taking by the end of the deadline. So Senesi Palace away could come away with a 4-point floor right there. So and the only other player that I'm not very happy with, the couple of players, is that okay, Xavi Simons has been quite disappointing. Although he's playing Villa at home, I feel like that's a spot that I made a mistake on my wildcard. I really initially had Kudus in my mind, but I thought I'd go for what I thought was a sexier pick in Xavi Simons, but Kudus has come out well. So that was a mistake in my wildcard decisions there. So that could be a spot I'm looking to change because Spurs' decisions are moving. And Mbumo is playing Liverpool away, another player who hasn't given as much as what I was hoping for with the last two fixtures that United had. And Liverpool away, we don't know what Liverpool will show up. They've been not great defensively. So we could see Mbumo come away with a haul, but it's still away. It's still Anfield. It's not easy. So that's also a spot I'm quite flaky on. Now, we've seen how the bus team looks. Now let's look at what are the dilemmas that I'm facing with my team. So let's first look at which of the players I'm happy long term. I think in my entire 15, the player that I'm most happy with is actually Dubravka because he's a 4.0 playing keeper. He's just going to be on your bench on most weeks, and it's a gem that FPL has given us. Any issue with my main keeper, he's always ready to come on. So that is a lock for pretty much everyone in FPL now. The Arsenal deep dive, I will do a little more in the next section. I will talk about them a little more in detail. Which are the other players I'm happy long term? In defense, I'm fairly happy with most of them. Senesi and Anderson are both DEFCON monsters. They can be played in pretty much most fixtures, and they do have decent fixtures coming up. Like if you just see Bournemouth are playable most fixtures. Anderson has a couple of difficult fixtures now in game week 8, 9 maybe, but game week 10 onwards, he has great fixtures as well. So very playable. Rodon as my 4.0 midfield defender, I'm quite happy with because he has goal threat. He scored again in the international break for Wales, and he has a couple of decent fixtures coming up. I know I have to play my bench boost, so either in game week 9, 11, and even game week 8 this week, all have decent fixtures. So and Leeds look like the best of the promoted team. So I'm quite happy with Rodon pick there. In midfield, the only player I'm right now have marked as happy long term is Semenyo, and that is pretty self-explanatory in itself because Semenyo is he's just in that sort of form, and you don't want, and he's so highly owned that it's just scary to not own him at this point. And now I'll get to the others midfielders in the other sections later. And in upfront, Haaland is an easy, happy long term. I think he's captainable in most fixtures. I think although game week 11, 12, or even 10, Haaland doesn't have the best of fixtures. He's playing Liverpool in 11, 12. They're playing Newcastle away. So, but still, with the kind of form he's in, he's a central focus of that City team that's feeding him. There'll be more creators coming back from injury soon, Mamouche and Cherki, but still Haaland is going to be the central player there. He's had a great international break as well, scoring lots of goals for Norway. So easy hold. And João Pedro is the one, he's being sold by so many people in FPL. I know it's been frustrating because he's not really even had a shot in the last few weeks. But then just look at the fixtures that Chelsea have. Just if you want to go look at the fixture ticker for the next, from game week 8 to game week 15, that's until the AFCON break that we're going to get. You can see Chelsea have great fixture run starting from this week. That is Forest away against an Ange Postecoglou's Forest away, Sunderland at home, Spurs away, Wolves at home, Burnley away. So until game week 12, before they play Arsenal, it's a fantastic run of 5 fixtures. And João Pedro he has the advantage of having the entire international break off, so he's been rested. He's suspended for the next Champions League game between game week 8 and 9, so his minutes in the Premier League are up. So, and if Enzo Fernandez by any chance has that injury that they mentioned in Argentina, he's on penalties. But unlikely that Enzo Fernandez is out. I think he'll play. But João Pedro is still a hold for this fixture, and even though he's in such terrible form. Now, moving on to the next section, there is the players that I'm happy to have in my team for this week. I'm not looking at them as a priority transfer this week, but still, there are players that I might be looking to move on then later. Romero has been quite a disappointing pick on my wild card. I was hoping he'll come in with those, maybe the occasional assists and goals from the set pieces, and at least get defcons as well. But he's done none of those. So, and Spurs fixtures are changing. And if you go back to the fixture ticker, if you see, Spurs fixtures are like right now with against Villa and then Everton away, and then the fixtures change: Chelsea, United, Arsenal, Newcastle, all coming up in the next few weeks. So definitely a team that I want to invest out of. So Romero is definitely somebody I'm looking to move. But do I have to move him this week? Not really. I can play him against Villa at home, or I can play Senesi, and so game week 10 when when the fixtures really change for them is when I'm really looking to move them on to somebody like a Palace defender. We'll get to that soon. Now, Reinders is a spot, again, when disappointing in a few weeks. The 1 week where he got returns in between the 10-pointer against, I happened to bench him. So I've been pretty unlucky with Reinders, except game week 1, of course. So, but then at that price, it's fine. He's still getting the chances. He's still playing he's still getting the minutes for City. But then with the others coming back from injury and City's fixture run changing from game week 10 onwards, they're playing Bournemouth and Liverpool and Newcastle. So I feel Reinders is somebody I can move on. There are very good midfielders that I have my eye on. So definitely it's somebody I'm happy to hold this week. We're playing Everton at home, but might look to move again. Game week 10 or game week 10 or 11 is the target there. Now, Gyökeres is the next interesting thing. I think, as I said, I'll talk about Arsenal later. I'm happy to play him this week. But then with the form he's in and with the form that Saka could be in, especially with penalties, so there's a temptation to maybe move him on and make that switch, or maybe switch to a Liverpool spot down the line, or to somebody like an Isak when their fixtures change. But yeah, that's a spot I'm keeping my eye on. And the other players I could even look to sell in game week 8. Now, I'll start with the third player in that list, that is NDI. I'm actually not really looking to sell NDI this week, but I know it's City away. That's why I have him listed here, because as I said, it's a good exit point for them. But still, he's still on penalties. Everton are creating decent enough chances. And game week 10, he has Sunderland. So even though I can bench him right now, he's on my bench in this week. So then I feel I can hold on to him. He still holds value, and there's nobody immediately I can reach from the money. And there are more priority sells, because as you go up, Mbumo is somebody I'm okay keeping, actually, because United, if you look at the stats, United have created the most XG in the entire league. And Mbumo's just scored 1 goal, although he's racked up a lot more XG. So he's been a little points dodging. He's been, he could have come away with a lot more. He did get an assist for me last weekend. But then away to Liverpool at Anfield, never easy. Whatever form you can say, Liverpool are in bad form, all that, but never easy to go there. But United are a team that are getting better, I would say. And Mbumo's minutes are pretty good. He's taking corners, so he could come away with a good haul. And if you look at United's fixtures apart from that, United are playing Liverpool away this week, but after that it's Brighton at home, Forest away, Spurs away, Everton at home, which are not bad. Not the best of fixtures, but still not bad and very playable in those matches. So Mbumo is somebody I need to make a decision on. Xavi Simons, I would say, is my biggest concern in my team, because he's been a pretty disappointing pick. He's not really come close to scoring, very close to assisting in a couple of times, but still getting subbed off after 70 minutes in every game. Kudus was definitely, I would say, probably the better pick. He's getting 90 minutes. He's got the goals now. He's looking like more of a talisman. So that's a spot I'm really looking to sell. Now, what are the other dilemmas that I wanted to talk about? Mainly, I want to talk about Arsenal. So I have 3 Arsenal that I have is Raya, Gabriel, and Gyökeres. Now, Arsenal, so many other players are becoming quite popular. Saka, especially after getting that penalty, scored for England again. Eze again coming away with a couple of returns. Again, he also scored for England just this week. And with Odegaard's injury, Eze should be nailed in that team. Timber is coming away with attacking returns, and he's playing so high up and getting those. He won the penalty last time, and then of course Rice has actually returned almost pretty much every week in the Premier League so far. So he's being underrated as a pick and like gone under the radar slightly, but still am I happy with my 3 Arsenal? And is it worth switching? Is it worth using my free transfers to switch? I'm quite settled on double defense. I think double defense over double attack is the way to go. I think Arsenal are the best defense in the league. So so having double Arsenal defense and then stacking the rest of the defense with defcon monsters and cheap guys is more than enough, I feel. Now within the double defense, I'm quite happy with Raya because it's a spot that I can play throughout. And if I in a keeper spot when when I want to play somebody for the next 20 weeks, it is Arsenal. You couldn't go wrong with Arsenal. So quite happy with that. Timber, I'm okay. I know it's there's high upside in Timber, and if I was in a wild card, I might consider the double defense move and maybe go for somebody in a keeper. But I don't want to make it. It's not worth a transfer. Now, in attack, Gyökeres is my. Now, do I have faith in Gyökeres as my Arsenal attacker? If I was in wildcard once again, I think I will go with Saka. That's the truth, and I think most people will choose Saka now, especially given that he's mostly on first choice penalties. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Gyökeres takes it. Is it worth moving from Gyökeres down to another striker, moving up to Saka? That's a decision I have to make. I do have the free transfers. That's the thing. My team is not in very bad shape, so I do have the free transfers to do that. So I don't have to take a hit. So it is something tempting where Saka does look more in form, in confident, and he's taking the shots. And I think he's the talisman of the team. And with Madueke's injury, his minutes are good as well. So that's something I have to consider. Eze definitely is somebody on my radar, but I think Saka will be the one. If I really have to move, do transfers to move around Arsenal players, I think Saka will be the one I really want. Now, the next dilemma that I have, of course, my bench boost. I think it's a fairly okay decision. I think game week 9 or game week 11 is what I have in mind. I have Dubravka as my keeper, my Rodon as my 4.0 defender. Both of them have decent fixtures in that. Game week 11, the only concern is that if I wait until then, will there be injury issues that pop up out of the blue, and I might be stuck with an injured player on my bench and I can't use my bench boost. So that's a risk when you delay your bench boost. So game week 9, I am tempted by, but the game week 11 fixtures I feel are the better with the parts that I have in mind. So it'll be of how confident I am of my bench in game week 9. We'll see then. Now let's look at what I feel the biggest how I want to assess my team, right? So there are a lot of people wildcarding in game week 8. I wildcarded, of course, in game week 6. So all the wildcarders in game week 8, who are they getting that I don't have at the moment? So I want to take a list of that. Now, who am I missing in my team, basically? So I don't have any Liverpool. I'm not saying a lot of wildcarders are going for Liverpool. They really aren't. But I don't have Liverpool, and that is a concern. Because if you look at the fixture ticker, actually, for Liverpool, because they're actually pretty decently high up. They're third in the list here because you can see they're playing United at home, Brentford away, Villa at home. Except for the City fixture in game week 11, they have another great run starting from game week 12 onwards. Forest at home, West Ham away, Sunderland at home, Leeds away. So it's a pretty good fixture. But who do you really get from Liverpool? Salah is just too expensive at the moment to fit in your team with already Haaland in there. And his form is not that great. His numbers are not that great. Of course, he could come back to form anytime. Salah is the best FPL player of all time. But do you really want to rip up your team at the moment when Haaland is doing so well? Your captaincy is quite reliable at the moment. You really want to spend 14.5 million for Salah? I don't think so. And Van Dijk is definitely an option for the Liverpool's fixture run, but the defense hasn't been very convincing. They're not really keeping as many clean sheets as you want. They're making a lot of mistakes. This team does feel a little leaky. There's an injury news to Gravenberch at the moment, so will that affect the defense? I will consider Van Dijk maybe in game week 12, but not at the moment. And Isak is the one that I will say all of us could be going there. But of course, he's expensive. He's 10.3, I think, million. And he won't be on penalties like he was in Newcastle because Salah will be the one taking them. So is it really worth going there when the minutes are not as secure as well? You could see him play in the Champions League and get Ekitike might start in the Premier League. You could see who will play in the cup. Maybe Ekitike plays in the cup and Isak starts. But I still think Isak is first choice, and you'll see him start most games. But then again, you'll see early subs, all that. So I think again, I don't want to touch Liverpool in this stretch. I think until the City away game in game week 11, but game week 12 onwards, when they start with Forest at home and West Ham away, and that fixture run, we might look to get one of these players in. We don't know who yet. Now, another team I don't have in my team right now is Newcastle. Their fixture run again is pretty decent. They have a away game this week. So sorry, I was going to fixture ticker. Yeah, so they have an away game to Brighton, but then Fulham at home, West Ham away, Brentford away, and then after City they have Everton, Spurs, and Burnley. So it's long-term holdable fixtures for Newcastle. I don't have anybody in my team. I think I really feel I should have gone for maybe a defensive option like a Burn in defense, except maybe in place of Romero, who's in my team. But then it's okay. I think I don't really feel that there are priority transfer in Pope or Burn, but it's still definitely good options. Gordon in midfield, the minutes is the only concern that I have, but otherwise I'm very bullish on Gordon actually, because he's first choice and penalty should be, which took the penalties in the Champions League. But then he's getting subbed off early, and with Champions League especially, you see rotation in the team, so that is a concern that you have. He did score a good goal for England again, so he's actually in good form. We've not seen him as much this season because he got a red card and missed 3 games there. So Newcastle's attacking is just gelling in now, although they've not scored as many goals as we wanted so far, but still they're quite gelling in now. So they could be a team that to target in going forward. And Voltemada up front, I've been very impressed with. He's scored 3 goals already, coming new into the league. He's caught on quite well and scored for Germany as well. So he's looking in good form. He's second in line for penalties, if that counts for something. If Gordon is getting substituted regularly, that could count for something. So Voltemada is a player that I am definitely very interested in, and the most interested in from Newcastle at the moment. And I will show you a path which has Voltemada as an option down the line, my transfer path. Now, Crystal Palace, I don't have anybody yet. But then if you look at the fixture ticket again, the next 2 fixtures are Bournemouth and Arsenal. So do you really want them for that? And Game Week 10 onwards, they have a fantastic run. And that I feel I am targeting Crystal Palace players. Then Ismail Assar is somebody on my mind. Gehi is somebody I want in defense. And maybe Mateta, I'm not sure, instead of Voltemada, if I'll show you the path there. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at, Crystal Palace. I don't have West Ham in my team, and a lot of Game Week 8 wildcarders are going for West Ham, because if you look at the ticker once again, West Ham have good fixtures starting this week. That is Brentford at home, Leeds away, Newcastle at home, Burnley at home. The next 4 are pretty good, but it does get a little difficult after that. So do I really want West Ham? Is Bowen really worth it? Is a team I know they've got a new manager now, but have they really started clicking? I don't feel that I'm really missing them at the moment, so I'm okay serving them. If they start hitting form so much, I might look to get one of them soon. That's maybe a Paqueta or a Bowen. Let's see. Now, Brighton, I don't have anybody yet, and the only player I have in mind from Brighton is Minte. So there's somebody I do want to get in. Again, if you look at the fixtures now, they're right at the top of this fixture ticker. If in the long-term fixtures are really good, although entry point this week is Newcastle, not the best. United away again, not the best. But Game Week 10 against Leeds at home. Game Week 12 is also a good entry point with Brentford at home, Nottingham Forest away, Villa at home, West Ham at home. A lot of home games there. So maintain Game Week 10 or 12 is definitely an option you can get. Now Chelsea probably have one of the best fixture runs going forward from Game Week 8. Now I only have João Pedro in my team. I definitely want to try and get somebody else. Now Enzo is the one on my radar. Enzo has been in Cole Palmer's absence, who I think we know that he's going to be away for a while. Enzo is on penalties, so that makes him a great option. He's getting into the box. He's he's playing in that attacking midfield role. So I think Enzo, with the fixtures coming forward, if you want, let's quickly look at the Chelsea fixtures as well. They have Forest away this week, Sunderland at home, Game Week 9, Spurs away in 10, Wolves at home in Game Week 11, and Burnley away in Game Week 12. That is a fantastic fixture run to have. So Enzo is the one I have in mind. Caicedo, not as much. I know he's scored 3 goals. He's not going to do that very often. But he's going to tick along with Defcon. So not a bad pick. Chalobah and Sanchez in defense. I really don't want to make too many defensive transfers in my team. I think I'll rather go for somebody like a Palace defense or a Newcastle defense if I was making the transfers. I'm not really keen at that moment. Now, these are the team dilemmas that I had. Now, what are the 3 transfer paths that I have? So in Game Week 8, I have 3 free transfers. I have 0.4 in the bank. The first transfer is, if I was looking to do just one of the 3 free transfers, the number 1 move that I have in mind is Xavi Simons to Enzo Fernandez. As I mentioned, Xavi Simons is somebody I want to be getting out of, and Enzo Fernandez, with the fixture run they have, is a great transfer in. I think if I was just using one, this is a transfer I'm fairly set on. I know Enzo Fernandez has an injury doubt. He's yellow flagged at the moment, but I feel that's an international break injury. I think it's they were playing a friendly on Tuesday, so they wanted to get him out of there. So I really feel he'll start. Of course, we'll wait for press conference updates, but this is a move that I'll mostly make before the deadline, and I have 0.7 in the bank. Now, if I want to feel more aggressive, what can I do? If I can use 2 out of the 3 free transfers, so outside this one move that I mentioned, what else can I do? I can maybe move out of Mbumo, who's going to Anfield this week. I can go to a Newcastle midfielder, that is Gordon, first choice penalty taker for Newcastle, as I mentioned. In and I'll be making good money. I'll have 1.4 million in the bank after this move. I can get into the good fixture runs of both Enzo and Gordon and get out of 2 players who I'm not really keen on. But then, is Gordon really the best pick from Newcastle? Is he going to get the minutes that you want? And Mbumo still has decent fixtures after this Liverpool away game, and even the Liverpool game he could do well. So uh, I have to decide whether I have faith in Mbumo going forward. And one thing is, I need not do this move this week. I can just hold on to this week and see how the Newcastle. It's not the best entry point for Newcastle because Brighton, it's still away game. So maybe I can go in game week 9 as well. So that's something that I can keep in mind. But it's still a move that I actually fairly like. Now and finally, my third path, plan C, is using all my 3 of my free transfers, being aggressive and doing the Arsenal switch. That is moving away from Gyökeres in attack and moving to Saka in midfield. Now, again, Saka looks like the player to go for. As I said, I will go for him if I was on a wild card. And in midfield, having that spot of a expensive spot in midfield is somebody that I can look at, because in case in future I want to move to Salah, in case I want to move to Palmer or anybody in that bracket, having that expensive spot in midfield does make a difference. And if Haaland has difficult fixtures, when Haaland has difficult fixtures in game week 11, 12, am I really confident in captaining Gyökeres? Not really, but I am confident in captaining Saka because he's playing Sunderland away, Burnley away in all those weeks. So as a captaincy shout, I'm more confident of Saka. So this is a move I could do. And in place of Gyökeres, I would bring in somebody like a Voltemada. So probably the better player to Gordon as well. So maybe I get the better Newcastle pick and the better Arsenal pick. Voltemada could even be Bowen or even Mateta. So there are striker options to go for. At the moment, I'm leaning towards Voltemada. But again, I'll be fixing multiple issues in my team, bringing in exciting new players into my team who have good fixture runs. But this is also a move I could make after 1 week, right? I don't need to do this in game week 8. I can see, maybe Arsenal get another penalty in game week 8, and maybe we see Gyökeres take it against Fulham. So that will change things. So the entry points, once again, are not the best because it's away games for both Saka and Voltemada. So I can just wait 1 more week, play Mbumo, play Gyökeres, and see if I still don't have the confidence in game week 9, I can do this exact same move then. So these are 3 paths. Do let me know in the comments, guys, which path do you think I should do? Yeah, path A, B, or C. So, and then finally, I will just do a very quick run through of how my team is looking. If you can see, with the transfers I have in mind, the one move that I have in mind is to do Enzo Fernandez in for Xavi Simons. So that move is set in. I'll be starting Rodon here, Romero we saw. Now we have 0.7 in the bank. Now, what are the paths I have going forward? Now, game week 9, if I want to do the Mbumo Gyökeres switch to Saka Voltemada, I can do it this time, but I still feel the fixtures are good. Mbumo has playing Brighton at home, Gyökeres playing Palace at home, so it's okay. I still feel playable, and this is a bench boostable week because we have Dubravka playing Wolves away, Rodon playing West Ham at home, Anderson playing Newcastle away, and Reinders playing Villa away. And then moving on to game week 10 is I want to make a couple of transfers here because that's where the fixture changes happen. Palace have a good run of fixtures. So Romero down to Gehi is a good move that I have in mind. And same for Reinders, who enters into a bad run of fixtures for City. I wouldn't say a bad run, but not the best of runs because City are going to play Bournemouth and then Liverpool and then Newcastle. And Sarr has a great entry point at this time when you have Brentford, Brighton, Wolves, United, Burnley. So that's and he looks really good. Ismaila Sarr is getting the data, he's getting into the box, he's look confident in front of goal, all that. So I think this is a move you could play. That's why I like keeping NDI, because he's playing Sunderland at home, Sunderland away in game week 10. So this is the move I had in mind, the 2 moves, and I'll still be rolling 3 transfers into game week 11. Another bench boostable week because we have Dubravka playing West Ham, Rodon playing Forest, you have NDI playing Fulham. So and then in game week 12, the wild move that I wanted to show all of you, that Arsenal's fixtures slightly changed because they're playing Spurs. you could, and who has a great amount of fixtures starting in game week 12, and that's Liverpool. So I could go for somebody like an Isaac punt on game week 12, playing Forest at home. And to make money for that, I can downgrade Mbumo. I can go down to another team which has a good entry point, that is Brighton. So I can go to Minte, who has Brentford at home that week. So I can have my Liverpool pick if Isaac proves himself to be a good spot at that moment. So that is what I'm looking at. I'm not going to go further. So that's the thoughts I have in my team. By the time of deadline, I might upload a final team selection video by the end. Thank you so much for watching. Do let me know in the comments what you think of my video, and leave a like and subscribe on the channel. So see you soon and good luck.